grew since then, so I'm not.
Great. Don't you just tell the registry agent your
No.
height?
She looked at me and was just like, 5'7".
Makes sense.
Does not make sense. Crazy. Said it makes sense. Does not make sense. But like both my parents are short. So okay. Yeah. Well, hi everybody. This is the first episode of Table Conversations.
Hey.
I don't think y'all understand how hard it was to get this podcast started. But yeah, okay, let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Abby.
Hi, my name's Jacob.
I'm Eyasu. We're going to be the hosts of the pod. Yeah, this episode we're just kind of just like tell you guys who we are, give a little bit of our testimonies and like what the purpose of this pod is. So, yeah. Anybody want to start?
You go.
I go.
Yeah. Jacob?
I think
I'll
Jacob
go.
goes.
Jacob, okay.
I'll go first, yeah. Yeah, mine is quite brief. As you guys know, I grew up in the church and was always sent to church by my parents. Kind of like you go to school, for example, right? Like we're forced to go to school, forced to go to church from ages 0 all the way up until, for me, I would say 16 years old. That's how it was. And like, I can't say that I remember when I accepted Christ, but I remember from a young age always believing in him and what he did. And I was convicted of my sins at a young age.
Yeah.
But the one thing is I realized I just didn't read the Bible. I didn't have like an intimate relationship with God, I guess you could say. And it wasn't until started grade 6 in children's ministry by a guy at our church that we all know. I won't say his name right now. I still never told him this, but he was preaching that Sunday morning about how you're not too young to start following Jesus. And I really took that message to heart that day. For whatever reason, it was that day. And I'm like, I would say a healthy fear of the Lord was instilled in me that day, and went home, just took it upon myself to start reading the Word of God. And slowly, as I started to read, I saw many changes to my life. People told me I was a lot kinder of a person. Yeah. People started to notice things about my character that I didn't really realize myself even. And yeah, as I got older, just kept that habit of reading the Word of God. I've had seasons where it was more dry than others. I would say, praise God, now I'm at the healthiest season, I would say, of my life in terms of my relationship with God. And yeah, that's pretty much my testimony.
What about like? First of all, amen.
Amen.
I feel like we all know who you're talking about, but I don't think all of them know who you're talking about. But what's it called? I'm actually gonna ask you who it is. Just
Okay.
after.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
What about like a little bit about your personal stuff, like growing up, like because I'm really close to your family, like you're really close to mine, but like growing up, like what was life like for Jacob Emmanuel?
Growing up my life. So, yeah, I know you guys know, but I grew up with my dad being in ministry all my life. He started ministry at a really young age himself, and my dad's dad, my grandpa, was also in ministry as a pastor. So, my early stages of my life, I would say I was a person who was really exposed to Christianity in the Bible. So, I always had a decent understanding, you could say. But I know you guys would know this. Just because you have a parent in ministry, and just because you're introduced to the Bible at such a young age, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a relationship with God type of thing, right? So yeah, I would say I grew up that kid that was, forced to like recite Psalms 23 in front of the house, Psalms 46 as if it was like a recitation, right? And like these biblical values were just instilled to me from a very young age. And it's kind of always the way it's been.
Yeah. What about some of your like hobbies games growing up? Because I know you are a basketball.
Yeah.
Like your basketball mind is way past mine. Like I used to thought I was a basketball savant. You are different.
Yeah. I'll definitely say I'm a basketball nerd. I guess you could say all-around sports nerd.
Actually, yeah, that's
Yeah,
facts. Yo,
yeah.
the other day when he was telling us about players in the NHL and then telling me about some people from the MLB, I was just there like, yo,
What?
this guy knows everything about every sport. It's actually ridiculous. I'm sorry, yeah, go on.
I would say that's it's kind of derived from like as a kid, I wasn't really into, I guess you could say, video games. I always had video games. Like I had an Xbox growing up, like a Wii, like a Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS. Wasn't really fascinated by those things. My parents tried to get me to read books. Didn't enjoy that much. So it was like I had a cable and I would just turn on the hockey games. That's how it all started. And I would just watch every Saturday. Then my best friend was into soccer. I was into soccer, and like we kind of bonded over that. Then as I got older, got more into basketball, and yeah, I could say that's the sport that I'm most passionate about or specialized in.
And would you say that like the trials and tribulations through basketball kind of shaped who you are as a, like, because the basketball culture in high school is very anti, I wouldn't say anti-Christian, but it's just like it's very of this world. How would you say that affected your faith walk, your walk with God? Did it bring you closer to Him, or did it take you farther away?
Yeah. I would say it taught me a lot, or God used high school basketball to teach me a lot, but I also used high school basketball in a way that hurt my relationship with God in a way. And what I mean by that is I made it my life kind of. Everything I thought about, I would go home, watch film, go to class, watch film, and I remember that was the season of my life that I was furthest away from the Word of God. I remember sitting down, I think it was November, and that's tryout month, right? So you're preparing, it's quite serious. 1st. Yeah, November 1st, yeah. And it was the 3rd week of November. We had just like started our preseason, things were starting to pick up, and I went home and I sat down and I was like, dang, I haven't read the Bible in a while. And I was like, why is this? And I'm like, I'm just so occupied by basketball and just like pursuing this journey that I kind of just forgot about what comes first, right? And I would say what God used basketball to teach me in a positive way is, you know my story, right? For those of you guys who don't know, I was cut in grade 10, and that took a huge, huge toll on me because previous season, grade 9, was COVID, so we had no season. So now I was going to be away from the game for 2 years, and like, man, like that was devastating. And I just remember praying about it, and I had to switch my mindset in that time. I'm like, okay, grade 11's coming. I'm going to try out again, but just let God's will be done. And I remember when I got cut, the verse that my dad told me is like Romans 8:28, and God works good, like for all those, who love Him, right? And I didn't understand it when he said it, right? Because I was just so taken up by the disappointment. But yeah, like grade 11 came and I made it, had a really good season, then defied the odds and made seniors in my grade 12 year. And it was like, I kind of felt this message that what God starts, He finishes.
Yeah.
And it's up to Him to when it finishes.
Yeah.
And when He starts, no one can stop Him from finishing. It's kind of like,
that's good.
Yeah. It's kind of what He used basketball to teach me. There's a lot more things, but it would take a while if I share all of them.
No, it's good because a lot of the times, like me myself, I'm not gonna get into my toast and testimony, but like me myself, basketball definitely affected like the basketball culture and like learning high school basketball and then all the extracurriculars that come with it. It definitely affected my faith journey. I'm not gonna say that until my testimony, but it definitely affected my faith journey. It's good to hear that you had support though from your dad, because we all know his dad's a G. Yeah, like your dad is amazingly supportive. letting you know what the true one is in your life. It's good.
It's really good.
So next.
I think you go next.
Okay.
I mean, you do have my Bible in your hand.
I do. Mine is out of commission right now, but I'll have it soon. Okay. So I also grew up in a Christian home, with parents in ministry. I grew up in a smaller town though. I grew up in a town called Fort Mac. Some of you guys might know it. Very far north, very cold. There's like one of everything. But yeah, so that's where I grew up most of my life. And I feel like I was very much a church kid. So like every single week I'd be at church at least like 3 to 4 times a week doing like a bunch of things. That was like, I think I found my identity in church and like being like in different types of ministries at church. And then I think as I got older, that I started to realize like that's not something that you should be placing your identity in because it's not strong enough. And like the church is built up of people, but like I should be relying on God and not like the church, you know? Yeah. So that was definitely a rude awakening. But yeah, I went to a really small Christian school as well. So
you did?
I did.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, did. For like from like kindergarten to I'd say grade 7. So for a while. And the thing about small schools is that everyone knows everybody and everybody remembers everything you've ever done.
Yeah.
So it's not great. But yeah, I was like always waiting to get out of that school. And so when I reached grade 7, that's when you're in my town, you're kind of like able to go to like junior high / like high school. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to a public school now. It's gonna be awesome. So I went to this public school, and out of nowhere, I slipped into like depression, and yeah, pretty dark turn, not gonna lie. But and every day I feel like I would just go and like I'd wonder like why I'm feeling this way, why I'm so like sad, why everything around me feels like it's like crumbling. And like you guys don't get it, but maybe you do, but like I couldn't really see, if that makes sense. Like everything was blurry. And so like I wouldn't even have really a concept of like time. Like I'd go to school and then like I'd blink and then it's like time to go home, and then I'd somehow wake up the next day and be back at school. And like during that time I did not like really remember much, to be honest. But yeah, so it was pretty bad, and it went on for a bit, and I stopped going to church, and yeah, it's not the best. And then I just remember one night, me and my mom went to fill up the gas, and she asked me if I'm okay, and I just started like crying, and she prayed for me, and I felt like such a peace that honestly like changed everything for me. After that, like that's the last time I can remember that I was in like such a state like that. So yeah, then she was like, hey, we're taking you out of the school, we're putting you back in the Christian school. So I was like, okay. And then I went back, and honestly it was great after that. And life was pretty good. And then I started going back to church, and like, but I went back into my like ministry grind again. So I'm back there 4 times a week, like just doing everything. And I didn't really have like a good, I guess, spiritual foundation. So like I also really wouldn't read my Bible that much. I'd always be like, okay, it's fine, like I'm going to church, like I'll just like do something there, and then that will count for like my spiritual points. So it was definitely like interesting for sure. And then that like the following year, my pastor told us about a camp called Sunnyside, and that was the summer before grade 10 for me. And so we drove out, like our youth group drove out. So I was in the junior high camp, and it's an 8-hour drive from Fort Mac. So I was like, wow, where are we going? Like,
oh yeah, because it's south of Red Deer.
Yeah. So like almost 8-ish hours. So I was like, wow, this is hopefully this is gonna be fun. But I was not really expecting to have like an encounter with God. I was just like, okay, I get to have a sleepover with my friends. Because my parents did not allow sleepovers. So yeah, that was like basically my motivation for going. But despite my motivations, God still met me there. And I just remember feeling like fully like changed, like as if I was like going like underwater almost. And I remember like having this like vision of like God like filling in the cracks in my heart. Like I don't know if you know like you know how like cups, so if this cup, right, if it broke, some people would like use gold to fill it in.
China plate.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the imagery that I saw from my heart. So it was like God was restoring what was broken inside of me, and things that I didn't even know were broken until he like revealed it and restored them. And then by the end of that week I got baptized.
It's crazy that you said like I felt underneath water.
Crazy. I literally, so I got baptized, and then even as I was getting baptized, like the girl who was like praying for me before I was dunked, was like, I can just see like God is like restoring things for you. And I like started bawling, and it was like really, really, it was a really emotional moment, but also like I felt such peace. So I've never been the same since, to be honest. Yeah.
Would you say that, like, before this whole encounter in Sunnyside and stuff, like, would you say that your hope was in the church rather than Christ himself?
Yeah.
Because like, you were serving in ministry. Like, I can only imagine, like, the burnout that you probably felt over and over again, like, just serving, kind of like, exactly like Martha. Like, literally just serving. And then, like, it kind of reminds me of that song, Monday Morning Faith.
Yes, yeah.
Because, like, your whole faith was just based on, you need to get it perfect for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And you get it perfect for Sunday.
Yeah.
But then what happens on Monday?
Wow.
Right? And it's like, so many people's stories like that. Mine is kind of like a little bit of a combination of both of your guys' testimonies. So it works out kind of great that I'm the last one. But I do have to tinkle again. I'm sorry. Y'all are going to realize there's going to be a lot of breaks because I have a small bladder. Back to it. My testimony. Similar to both of you guys, grew up in a Christian family. Very, very devoted family. My mom was a heavy prayer warrior, and my dad was a guy that everyone saw as like wise and stoic, like someone that they kind of reminds me of you. Like, y'all don't know this. If y'all don't know Jacob, very stoic, nonchalant king. Actually, like it actually works. His nonchalant, like actually works. It's not like he tries. He is nonchalant.
Because I look up to your dad. He was my mentor in high school.
But God was always present in my family and in the house, but he wasn't always present in my heart. I'll tell you that much. Even from a young age, I would get angry really quickly at school and stuff like that. Like, I'm a really emotional person, which most people know. Like, I'm either on level 100 or level 0. Like, but I remember the first ever actual encounter I had with God, like feeling the Spirit, was at Sunnyside as well. I think it was summer of grade 5, or summer going into grade 5, and right then I was like, okay, like this stuff that my parents and that I've been hearing at church, it's real, right? Mind you, I would actually seem to most people, like at church, I would seem like a good kid because I did the right things of, I read my Bible with my family, I knew what to say and how to say and what to do, but inwardly I was broken. I was a glass, as Jesus says, like I was a glass outside, it was clean, but the inside was dirty, right? After Sunnyside, I was like, I felt the encounter of God, and that was like grade 5. It definitely was grade 5 summer. Now, grade 5 summer going into grade 6, and then grade 6 happens. I go to school, and then I just start like acting the same as I was beforehand, like getting angry, kind of also being prideful. And we go into junior high where I start playing basketball, right? I start playing basketball and I get into like the whole culture of like being tough.
Yeah.
Right? It's the opposite of kind of like how Jesus is portrayed, right? So then I had to struggle with that because I wanted to be tough, but I knew in my heart that what I was doing was wrong. So I was completely a lukewarm, like from junior high till almost the end of junior high, and that's when COVID hit, 2020. It was my grade 9 year, and I was like realizing, like, as everyone was separated from each other, like how separate I was from God, like how far away I was from God, because we had no one else. Like, cause when I would act tough, it would be for people.
Yeah.
It would be for prideful reasons. I want to be looked at. I want to be seen as that guy that's tough. You know, like I'm good at school. I'm good at basketball. I can do whatever, right? But it was a dark point in my life, and then I started turning to things that I really shouldn't have turned in 2020. So like I hit rock bottom, and then that's when God really said, "You've gone too far now. Like, you know I'm real. You felt me before. You felt the conviction on your heart, but you've been doing sins of commission. You do the sin, even though you know it's wrong." And yeah, I just from then on, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna start taking you more serious. And guess what happened? I entered high school. Did not do that. Did not do that. You would have thought, like, right away it would have been like, oh, it's shifting. But like, it was still the same habits I was falling into in high school. Like, now it was just a new environment. Like, it was just a bigger environment from junior high. I went to the same elementary and junior high. So then when I hit junior high school, then I was just like, okay, these are a lot of people I don't know. Now I really got to perform my best and like perform my best in school and basketball to, you know, be seen as someone who is loved.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. I wanted to be seen as someone who's loved by everybody, by every group of persons. But that was not that was not actually what God intended for all of us, right? He wants us to know that we're loved by Him, and through that He'll change our character, and through that His Spirit will change how we move in our lives. I think grade 11 summer, funny enough, I got baptized. And then I was just like, okay, now I really got to start taking it serious. And it started off pretty well. Grade 12, I would say, like, I was really adamant on trying to follow Jesus out. I think you probably remember grade 11, I was leading a small group. With you. And like I was really trying to seek after God, serve Him. And it would feel rewarding at times, but then it would feel draining at times. And I'm just like, well, this is not what I was promised by Jesus, the peace beyond understanding. But it's also because I wasn't seeking His character. I was just seeking at the rewards of being a quote-unquote good Christian. to that realization. That realization didn't happen in a moment. Kind of occurred over time. I started like falling deeper and deeper in love with the Lord. Like he's so patient and faithful just throughout my whole life. Like how many times he said, no, stop going this way. No, stop going this way. How many chances he's given me. And just the position that I'm in right now in my life. Like it's just all thanks to him. And so, yeah, like every day is a struggle. Every day is always a struggle, but I know that he's with us and his promises will never fail us. So, yeah, that's kind of my testimony.
When you were doing our small group, so
Yeah.
for those of you guys who don't know, Eyasu was my small group leader, I believe, when I was in 9th grade heading to 10th grade. Was it?
Something like that.
Yeah, for a year, I'd say, for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like just during that time, I was gonna ask. I remember when you quit, like when you had stepped down to pass it to Sammy, you sent a text. I remember one key thing about the text that you said that I still remember. You said you learned at that time, or were learning, that to love others, you have to love yourself. I remember you told me that.
Yeah.
That stayed with me. And just like hearing your testimony, where would you say you were around that time? Where does this era fit into the timeline of your testimony?
Like where, like I am now, fits on, or where did that era?
That era.
Okay, that era. Yeah. So it would have been exactly where I was saying I was seeking the rewards, right? I was thinking, okay, if I serve in church more, I'll feel the love of God. If I serve in church more, I'll be received more by God. Like I'll be acceptable in front of God. And it caused me to literally drag myself to church, even though I didn't want to at times, right? And that's not like the loving relationship that he wants from us. Like loving in the sense when he tells us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. If you don't love yourselves, then how can you love your neighbor?
Yeah.
Right? And at that time, I did not love myself one bit. I was seeking after rewards and stuff like that, and it was draining. It was so draining. I hit burnout, and it was when I forgot who I was talking to. This is important though. I think he may have been Sam Teka. Like while I was on a walk with him, he said that Jesus was like the ultimate person in isolating himself. Not isolating, but making boundaries with him and his followers, or him and his friends, to connect with God, right? And essentially, I had to do that, right? I had to make a boundary where I was like, I've been serving like way too much. I've been serving when I really should have just been sitting at his feet. And yeah, it was just, that was like the moment in my testimony where it was, I would say it was, I was seeking the rewards rather than him, because I was trying to serve the church just because I'll be rewarded. Yeah.
Do you think like the concept of like heaven and hell like played a role in it? Like were you like very
100%.
scared about it?
100%. I remember a scene where it was like, or I remember reading the verse where it's like, we will each give an account of our own actions. And that always, I was just like, all right, I gotta do bear now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, let's go. Dust my hands off, let's go. Yeah, heaven, like the fact that it was like, in heaven we'll be given based off of our own accounts, and or on judgment day we'll have to give an account for all our actions. That always stuck with me. And then therefore like the whole prospect of heaven and hell, like if you ask me what do you do to get to heaven, I'll have the word for word right answer.
Yeah.
But in my heart I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that because my actions were saying otherwise.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like a fear I also had, like Just like heaven and hell. And so like I don't want to go to hell, so I'm gonna go to church every single day of the week, and hopefully that will keep me out of hell.
Yeah.
But then I realized it's not really about that, honestly. Like it's about pleasing Christ and like loving him, and it doesn't really matter. Like I feel like it's hell without him, you know.
That's good.
So,
It's
yeah.
hell without it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what people forget a lot of time too. Is like, think about the worst moments in your life, and then think about that times 10. Because in this life, God is always present, right? So like, I literally can't imagine what hell is like, because it's complete separation from everything that's good.
Right.
And I'm just like,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, that definitely put it more in my heart. Someone.
Yeah, me too. So I asked that question.
For real.
Yeah.
I could definitely say I had that fear too. Like when I first started actually implementing the practice of daily devotions and reading the Bible, I was doing it because a fear of being a lukewarm Christian, or am I good enough, or like, yes, salvation is by grace through faith, but I see people at school saying, I'm a Christian, I'm saved by grace through faith, doing whatever they want. So I'm like, I need to do something to distinguish myself, I felt. But then, I guess I could say as I matured in my spiritual walk, I realized you read the Bible, you pray, you do your daily devotion, not out of a fear of going to hell, but to be in communion with God and kind of experience the opposite of life without Christ, which would be hell, but heaven on earth.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. Wow.
It's kind of what like we were talking about at church yesterday, like Romans 8:5, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on things of the flesh. I was living according to the flesh, right? So I was only thinking about cause, effect, what was going to happen. I wasn't thinking about just being present with him. Yeah, that just popped into my mind. I was thinking about that.
It's cool. Romans 8 is one of my favorite chapters.
Romans is my favorite book. Like, if you see this whole Romans book, bro, it's like page for page, it's highlighted, underlined, like everything. Like, it's by far my favorite book.
I'm trying to think what my favorite book is. I would say probably like John.
Same.
John.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
So both of us, all three of us, is our favorite books in the New Testament.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go to the Old Testament. I got my answer. Boom.
Jeremiah.
Daniel.
Or Job.
Oh, I like Ecclesiastes too. I like Proverbs.
Psalms.
Psalms.
Yeah.
For me, it's easy. As an emotional man. Sorry. I'm not gonna milk it, actually, sorry. But Psalms is just like, it has everything. Like any feeling that you But sometimes I was talking about it with my friends. I was like, sometimes the Psalms, it just sounds like too good to be true, on a sense of, if you understand what David's going through at the time, and then he's writing this, you're just there like, what? So I was like, sometimes he feels like the most fake person, but other times I connect with this guy so deep. But then I'm just there like, how is he like when he's like being hunted by what is it called, Saul in the Philistines, and he's writing this, I'm just there like, who are you feeling like? Like, bruh.
It's good.
How good.
Was he like in the wilderness as well, like kind of just on the run, right?
Yeah.
He was on the run for so much of his early life.
So it didn't tell age. I don't want to misquote.
I don't know the age, so I can't even say you're wrong or you're right.
Yeah.
But he was on the run.
Actually, Google that. When he became king.
Like, he was on the run for like his whole early life.
Yeah.
And then became king. Like,
crazy.
You know how many emotions? That's probably why Psalms is a little bit long. Because like he's probably felt every single emotion and just wrote it down.
Yeah. Or
Or he had one of his choir masters just write it down and sing a song. But
yeah.
Okay, so scholars approximate it's somewhere between 7 to 15 years that he was on the run, and that he became king at around 30 years old.
Wow.
So many years from when he was appointed king as a kid.
That makes a lot of 30-year-olds probably feel bad. Becoming the king of Israel at 30 years old.
I think there's like King Josiah, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
Like 9 years old, I think. He was
Wow.
appointed
Oh
king.
yeah, he was appointed as a kid because of the whole
Yeah.
Was it his mom that died?
I think his father. Is his father?
Or like it was his mom that kind of like instilled something into him. I could be completely
Maybe.
watching it. The whole King's
Kings,
Yeah.
Chronicles.
it's very
yeah.
Arctic.
Yeah.
It is,
I
yeah.
can't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Hezekiah, then I don't know if it's Manasseh before Hezekiah or Manasseh in between Hezekiah and Josiah. And like I know Hezekiah and what's his name, Josiah were like the two kings that like honored God basically.
Quote unquote were the good kings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also hard to keep up, like when you during the split too. Like
Yeah.
like keeping
Yeah.
up with. Now you got to be careful who you call Israelites and who you call Jews,
Right.
because like they were different at the time. But,
Ooh, so like can you elaborate on that? So it was like Israel and Judea, so each
Yeah.
one of them was called something different.
yeah, like you would have to like. I think, going off of
Yeah.
memory here, I think like northern were called Israel, like you would call them Israelites, and the ones Judeans or Jews. The south, because that's where Jerusalem was. The south had Jerusalem. And
Right.
so, yeah. Type.
Today would they just be mixed? Like
I don't know actually. Yeah. It could be. Well, the nice thing is, does anybody have like one of those? Like, do you have the
maps at the back?
map?
Yeah.
It could be okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
Just flip through. Might not be on that one.
So this is the patriarch. So this is when Paul.
Maps are like
Oh, all of
yeah.
them, okay.
That's the first page of the map.
Italy, Europe.
Yeah.
Okay, so. No, look. This is okay. King David and Solomon.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay, so it has a gap. It goes King of David and Solomon,
Okay.
and then Jesus ministry. So it misses the whole king.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's,
it's
yeah,
not a
it's
good
not. It's
map,
not that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the greatest to like. But yeah. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up for this episode.
Wrap it up. Oh wait, we should probably talk about the
Oh my
vision.
gosh, yeah, with the-
that
with
was
the
the
whole podcast.
mission.
Yeah, we got so caught up in our testimony.
Yeah.
And then the books of the Bible, but yeah.
Yeah. Amen. There will be some yapping on this pod. Probably actually a lot, because I'm a yapper. Abby's a yapper.
I can
Didn't know you're not a yapper, to be honest. Actually, yeah, you can.
be. I can be.
He can.
He can.
Yeah,
he can be. Yeah, depending on the subject. But yeah, what I would say our podcast is mainly about is like, just like the things that Christians will deal with daily that sometimes is just not talked about in church. You know, like our slogan is, "Where faith and life meet at the table."
Yeah.
Right? Like we want to talk about things that we deal with in life, in our day-to-day life, especially us as young adults, because I feel like sometimes young adults, we're a little,
Yeah.
some of us are scared, but then there's others who are really bold in just saying what they
Yeah.
believe,
Yeah.
right?
I see both
Um,
sides.
But like just being able to connect with each other and everyone that's watching, like the things that we're dealing with and the things that are biblical and what Jesus is calling us to do and what the Father is calling us to do day to day. Yeah, I feel like if I could put it into one verse, it's like we're just going to talk about picking up our cross, just following Christ and what that entails throughout our entire life. Yeah.
Oh. And tabled is a like is a why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. It's just. Go ahead.
Tabled is a play on words for like you said, things that aren't talked about, so things that are tabled in our walk with Christ. So yeah, really excited about that. We love the name a lot.
I just thought you were going to mention how every title is going to be.
Oh yeah, every title is gonna have something to do with the table, which is gonna be hard, but yeah. We'll do it. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like staring.
Yeah. What do you think, Jacob? What do you think the plot's about?
Yeah, I just say like everything you guys said, and I feel like really targeting, I would say, the youth, and like, what does youth mean to you guys? I say like 15 to all the way up to 30, honestly.
Yeah, young adults. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say young adults.
Yeah, and kind of just like you guys said, talking about things that maybe don't get brought up enough in the church, and like us being as real as we can with it, and just talking about it, of course, in that Christian lens.
Yeah.
We'll probably have some debates.
Might have some heated debates on that.
Yeah. Very
Me and
heated.
Abby have like.
We'll fight.
I feel like it's perfect that Jacob's gonna be in the middle, because like me and Abby might have different opinions. But what I liked about what you said is just being real. Like, authenticity is so lost in a lot of young adults' lives. That's what I was trying to say to you earlier. Like, authenticity, like, because we feel like, oh, we're in the prime of our lives trying to build ourselves up. So sometimes outwardly we want to seem a certain way, when inwardly we might be feeling some other type of way, right? Whereas here we're just going to try and be as authentic as possible, like tell you guys what we're dealing with, what we have dealt with, even though we have had a relatively shorter life than the majority of people, but like the things that we have dealt with, and the things that we've tackled, and the things that we will be tackling in the future. So
It's like, I'd also say is like, we want you guys to be able to relate, right? Like, that's why, like, we're talking about just like being authentic, right, with what happened in our lives, how we approached it, and whatever you guys could get from that.
Giving you practical steps as well to, like, in your walk with Christ, you can see all that we went through and some of our takes, and try to implement those steps into your life. I think.
But most importantly, I want to make sure everyone knows that our word is never going to be the final say. The final say will always be, for audio listeners.
That was good timing.
For audio listeners, I just tapped my Bible. But
Really good. Yeah.
I think we're good.
Me too.
Awesome.